Hey everyone, normally I just do shorts about figures because normally my philosophy is that by the time I actually get the figure in hand, many people have already received it. Some of them get them directly from the manufacturer, or they get it there quicker. By the time I get it, videos will come out and reviews and stuff like that. And I don't feel like I have a whole bunch to say, so I try to find something I can say about a figure in 60 seconds or less. But this kind of video came about from a comment I made on one of the forums when the HasLab Giant Man figure was announced. So they're producing this figure, this very large figure, and it's only $200, which I think is a fair price for that figure. I'm not getting it, but I think it's a fair price. But it made me begin to question some of the things that Hasbro's been doing a lot of times, and a lot of it is now with the prices of Build-A-Figures rising. I kind of want to try to figure out what is the actual cost of the Build-A-Figure. Now, when I pointed out, I made a joke like, how do you feel now about spending $200 for a Build-A-Figure? When they're doing the HasLab for this much larger figure, and somebody shot back, basically, well, you're buying, 8 figures or 7 figures, and you're getting the Build-A-Figure for free, and I'm like, okay, that kind of makes a little sense. So this is the Ant-Man wave with the Cassian Build-A-Figure from the Quantumania movie, and so I'm like, okay, good. So I'm looking at this. So I've got the entire wave here collected, and so for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 figures, you can collect all the pieces to have a Build-A-Figure. So right now, Hasbro figures, these were averaging about $27. Walmart was where I mostly got them. So I figured, I spent $189 altogether and got a free Build-A-Figure, if you think about it that way. Well, then I began to think a little bit more deeper that here's some problems with that. First of all, only the Ant-Man does not have a Build-A-Figure piece. He was still $27, just like the rest of the other figures, but he doesn't come with a Build-A-Figure piece. So I really only needed 6 figures to complete the Build-A-Figure. So, that's kind of cool. So that means it's one figure I really didn't have to get in that way to get the Build-A-Figure for free. So you're only spending $162 at that point for the Build-A-Figure piece. But then I began to think more. So with, I only really wanted, outside the Build-A-Figure, I only wanted the 3 that were actually in the movie. The Wasp, Ant-Man, and the Kang for the MCU Kang. And the rest of these guys are kind of just extras. And some people go, well, you got then in the case, or you get the Build-A-Figure, then you got 4 extra figures. So if I spent $108 then for 4 figures I didn't want. If you look at the bottom of that, well, then there were free figures. I suppose $100 for things that just because they're free doesn't mean I want them. So in actuality, did I spend $108 and get for Build-A-Figure pieces, and then another $54 for the 2 figures that had Build-A-Figure pieces? So did I get those for free because I wanted them, or did I get this for free? So it's kind of weird. So I only wanted these 3 figures to begin with. 2 of these figures came with Build-A-Figure pieces, so I paid full price for the Ant-Man, and then with no Build-A-Figure. But the thing is that in no scenario really truly is the Build-A-Figure a free figure. Hasbro factors the cost of those pieces into it. That's why they've been cutting things like hands and accessories. Because they're telling us now that they can't do extra hands because it keeps adding to the cost. The cost adds to the figure. So that means so how much did the Build-A-Figure? How much does the Build-A-Figure actually cost? I know how much I had to spend to get the Build-A-Figure, but was the spending equal to the how much the figure actually cost. So looking at this logically, I spent five figures. I bought five figures altogether at $27. Four of them I got Build-A-Figure pieces. Three figures I wanted, right? So how much is this Build-A-Figure actually work? So looking at what Hasbro has been doing normally. Now, let me back up a little bit. I know I'm kind of rambling here. In my local toy shop that I go to, they'll buy a case of figures, pull the pieces out, sell all these guys individually. He'll throw these in a bin, mark down probably $22 a piece for these figures, and then he'll take the Build-A-Figure pieces and he'll build a couple of Build-A-Figures and sell them. So I think at the beginning, this wave came out and he built a couple of Cassies, and I think he was selling those for about $80 is what he was selling those at. But the thing is that that's way above what I feel that piece is actually worth. So looking at what Marvel normally does in a few years now, probably not with this figure because you don't see this a lot with MCU Build-A-Figures, but you've seen this a lot with other figures that used to be built, like Red Hulk was a Build-A-Figure. The Venom, Space Venom was a Build-A-Figure. Hulkbuster was actually an MCU one, was originally a Build-A-Figure. So you've seen them come back and they've seen them re-release Build-A-Figures. Retro-carded Kingpin from the Spider-Man was originally a Build-A-Figure. They just recolored them. So you see them doing this a lot where they re-released things that were once Build-A-Figures at retail. And normally those wind up being around, depending upon the figure, around $40 to $50 for the re-release Build-A-Figure. So looking at the Cassie here, it's a standard figure, not a lot of, now don't even so not nice figure, extra head hands. This would have probably, if they were just to re-release the Cassie figure, would probably be in about the $39.99 range, $40. So the funny thing is that that's really a $40 figure, and that you're now having to hunt for. That you're spending, in my case, you spend $189 total to get the whole wave. Get the Build-A-Figure. So between $108 I spent, $108 and $189 I spent to get that Build-A-Figure. Then when you look at it, only six, it was divided up into six different pieces that came with the sixth one, because remember the Ant-Man didn't have the Build-A-Figure piece. So you divide that $40, thereabouts by six, and you wind up getting about $6.70 per figure is what the base selling price would be of each of these. So when you look at that, you're basically the $7 now was added to each of these figures. So basically these figures now, that brings that cost to the figure to about $20 per figure. Then they charge you $7 for the Build-A-Figure piece. And then they just completely rip you off with Ant-Man right away at $27 for the whole thing. So I see people online, trying to figure out how much stuff costs and all that stuff, and so there's another factor at play here of why we will get figures we don't want for a Build-A-Figure, or if we go and buy secondhand the Build-A-Figure, you'll pay more than double, sometimes triple for it. Of what will eventually be released in a few years at that price point as well. And I think I want to do another video at some point to talk about why that is and how they do that. But for somebody to say that you bought you bought seven figures, and you got a free Build-A-Figure, was completely off base because there was a cost involved in the Build-A-Figure. The Build-A-Figure was not free. At the end of the day, and it's full disclosure too. When I first got this wave, I got the Wasp figure first, because when these first came out, they were very sparse on the shelves, and Wasp was the only one I saw. and I actually gave the leg away to the local toy shop. We have a good relationship there. I give a lot of Build-A-Figure pieces I don't want to my local toy shop, and because my intention was not to collect the Cassie Lang figure. And then I saw in the What If wave that's coming out, they had this guy, the Goliath figure, coming out, and I kind of like, man, I like that. I like the whole Ant-Man aesthetic, so I wanted to get the Cassie Lang figure. So at the end of the day, now these were hitting the shelves. The only figure I could not find was the Wasp figure, ironically. So I was potentially paying a second time to get a Wasp figure for the missing piece. But then I went on Macari, and I got the leg piece that came with for like $22. Which I thought was good because I couldn't find any Build-A-Figure pieces for this. But at the end of the day, like I said, at the end of the day, this is in reality a $40 figure. And I'm not even counting in the time that it takes to hunt all these down, or even if you pre-order, then the rigmarole you go through with that. And so basically what's going to happen is these 4 figures over here, I want to wind up either selling them to somebody, or doing a bundle thing on Macari with a bunch of other figures and selling them off, or trading them in for credit towards something I really want as well. And then just in keeping the 3 figures I really wanted, plus the Build-A-Figure figure. So again, like I said, this isn't a scientific economic accuracy thing. This is just my doodling with some numbers, looking around, because people are starting to get really wrapped around this idea of what something's worth, and really not looking at what the cost is. Because like I said, at the end of the day, I felt getting the extra leg piece just to get this figure, because I missed out on that first one, was worth the $22 to complete the figure at that point. Whereas I would have wound up, if I would have found the Wasp on the shelf again, I would have spent the $27 to get the leg piece, and then have a second Wasp that I had to get rid of at some point. So that's just kind of my thoughts on it. Leave your thoughts below if you will. But I want to look at a video. I want to try to do a video later. Some more of these. I don't do a lot of these longer form videos. Just something I wanted to try to do. It took a lot to get this out. But just look at how much something is cost, and then versus how much something is worth. But I'll go in a little bit later. I'll do another video at some point to talk about the why though we will spend and get figures we don't want, just to get all the Build-A-Figure pieces for that one, and wind up spending way more than what that figure is actually worth to get it. So I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.